Hey, for you guys that don't know, a matter of fact, everybody should know where that clip came from. One of my favorite, one of my favorite movies of all times, Home Alone. Well, welcome back. We're back here inside Lunchbox, and today we have our holiday special. Actually, we're gonna let me backtrack a little bit. We're actually gonna drop down to 2 shows a month, 2 episodes a month, and this month we're starting our holiday special. We're gonna go over Christmas. We're gonna go over Kwanzaa. And we're also going to go over Hanukkah and just give you a little history about each of them and talk about some of the foods, of course, the type of foods that they eat during the holiday. So with that being said, we're going to start off with Hanukkah. But before that, introduce Levi, the man, the myth, the legend.
The mighty pusher of buttons.
He's more than that. But man, how was your week, man?
The week was good. Got a lot of work done. I had a couple extra days off this week, so I got some rest done. I finished editing together last night a video for the VFW because December 7th is coming up, and that is
Pearl
while
Harbor.
also December 7th this year happens to be the start of Hanukkah. It's also the date of Pearl Harbor.
Oh wow! Wow, I didn't know that the dates were on the exact same day.
Well, this year it is.
Oh, this year it is.
Yeah, and so when we're talking about Hanukkah, Hanukkah is a minor Jewish holiday, not in minor in the fact that it's not well known or widely celebrated, minor in its religious practices. Like there's no, unlike other major Jewish holidays, there's no like restrictions on what you can eat. There's no restrictions on like what times of days and whatnot. So It's a minor Jewish holiday, but the Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar. And for those who don't know, the moon does not orbit the Earth a perfect number of times each year. Its orbit around the Earth is different from Earth's orbit around the sun. So lunar calendars drift. So every year, Hanukkah starts on the same day of the Jewish calendar, but the Jewish calendar does not always line up with the rest of our calendars because our calendar is a solar calendar, their calendar is a lunar calendar.
Okay.
A little bit of history there.
Wow.
But yes, so since December 7th is coming up, I'm a Navy veteran. December 7th was probably the worst disaster in the U.S. Navy's history. And so it's a very important day for us Navy vets. And so I made a video for the VFW remembering the attack on Pearl Harbor and the lives that were lost.
That was really sad. It was definitely before our time. And growing up and learning about Pearl Harbor, it was definitely a devastating tragedy. A lot of veterans passed away. A lot of veterans died. It was very horrific.
And it drug the U.S. into a very costly and bloody war. Because before Pearl Harbor, we were not involved in World War II.
Yeah.
Directly after Pearl Harbor, Nazi Germany declared war on the United States. We declared war on Japan. And it was just a slugfest for the next 4 years after that.
Yeah, it was very, very, very sad time. But, I mean, if you guys ever go to Hawaii, they have like a memorial there for all the veterans and the Navy men that died there. So definitely give your respects to those guys on that day. So with that being said, we're going to go right into to Hanukkah. Talk about a little bit of the food. Their food is very, very light compared to other holidays. Some of the stuff that they serve are lakis, if I pronounce that right. Lakis is a fried potato. Kind of looks like hash brown shredded potatoes.
Yeah.
And what they do, they make like a little cake out of like a little, I guess like a little cake or something like that. And it was definitely it's definitely a well-known dish that they eat during that time. And with that, they had lakis, they had brisket, and they also had roasted chicken as well. So lakis is a fried potato, hash brown type thing. They make it into like a little cake, and it's topped with applesauce. Now, here's the thing. When I was doing my research on it, the oil that they fry it in, it's supposed to commemorate the oils they use to light the temple lamps, which is very interesting.
So, quick story about the oil there. That is the whole, not the entire meaning, but it's the majority meaning of Hanukkah. So, during the Maccabean revolt, As you know, Alexander the Great conquered the Persian Empire, which also included at that time Palestine or Israel. And so Jerusalem and the land of Palestine came under Greek rule after that. And when his empire divided up into different factions, you had like the Seleucid Empire, the Ptolemaic Empire in Egypt. The Seleucids were in like Asia Minor, or what we would call Turkey. They started persecuting the Jewish population there. And so the Jews rose up in the Maccabean Revolt and was successful, threw off the Greeks, and they wanted to rededicate their temple. And their temple has this giant menorah in it, which is a seven-spoked candlestick. And so part of their rededication ceremony included burning oil in the temple for 8 days. Now, the story goes, they only had enough oil for 1 day to keep the menorah lit, but it stayed lit for all 8 days anyways. Wow. It's a miracle.
Wow.
That's part of their story. And that's why the oil is so important to Hanukkah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
And that's why they light an 8-candled menorah for the 8 days. So for every night of Hanukkah, which is 8 nights and 8 days, they light one extra candle. So they have one candle in the middle, and they have 4 on each side, so it's a total of 9.
Okay.
And each day they light one extra candle until you get all 8 lit. And that's their holiday.
And the one that's in the middle, they take that one and they light each.
They take that one and they light the others.
Okay.
So for night 1, they will take that and light 1 candle. For night 2, they light 2 candles, 3 candles, 4 candles until they get all 8 days. Okay. So if you ever, if you know any Jewish families, and they'll have like a menorah in a window, for every one that's lit, that's how many days into Hanukkah they're in.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice. So you could, with me not really knowing about Hanukkah, if I go into somebody's home, I would know what day they're on by looking at their count. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. That's great. Another food that they have, which is kind of we know a lot about this type of meat here in Texas.
Brisket.
It's a brisket. So it was crazy because when I was doing the research on the type of foods that they ate during their festival or during their holiday, when I seen brisket, I was like, oh wow, like how do they cook their brisket? So what they do, they roast or they slow cook their brisket in some type of like a wine, like a wine stock, or maybe like a red wine vinegar, and they slow cook it in that. And of course they have their sides and the carrots and their potatoes and everything like that. But here's the thing that got me. The reason why they started using brisket, and this may not be 100% true, it's just, I guess, what has been passed down. The reason why they chose brisket, because at the time it was a affordable cut of meat. I don't know about nowadays. Brisket nowadays is over $100 and something. That, to me, that's not.
Isn't that how it goes, though? Where the common man has the common dishes that we make with affordable foods, and then the rich are like, "Wow, that's really tasty," and then they make it a delicacy.
They make it a delicacy.
Man, stealing from the commoners.
Example: oxtails. Like oxtail is a staple in Southern cuisine,
right?
And now you go get a pack of oxtail, which is 4, and it's like $13 for like no meat at all.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. So brisket is definitely something that Texas we know about, and they eat that on Hanukkah. Another thing that they cook.
Don't they cook it in like apple cider mix or something?
Yeah, it's apple cider, like an apple cider wine or apple cider vinegar.
That's so awesome.
So it sounds really tasty, because I'm thinking of a Southern dish. It's called it's a pot roast, but they use banana peppers.
Ooh.
And it gives it that tangy taste to it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting that's what I'm getting in my mouth when I'm talking about the type of vinegar that they cook their brisket in.
Right.
So just me talking about that is my mouth is watering so much. And another dish that they something simple that they make is roasted chicken. Now, the roasted chicken, from my understanding, is cooked traditionally. They use their thyme and they used a lot of their herbs, and they put their chicken into the oven and they roast it, right? So it's actually served on the Sabbath day, like the roasted chicken. Sabbath, sorry. If I pronounce that wrong, please forgive me. Sabbath is when they actually make the roasted chicken for that day, which that symbolizes. So yeah, definitely they eat really well for the holidays, for Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Everybody that's out there that celebrates Hanukkah, I wish you guys a happy Hanukkah this season. Bring your family together, enjoy a great meal, and I guess just don't forget where we came from as humans, and invite somebody into your home to have a good meal.
And definitely keep sharing your recipes. Chris and I were very lucky to find some wonderful Jewish cooks who were sharing their Hanukkah recipes, and we definitely want to try a few of these meals because they look really, really good.
Yeah, so I plan on sometime in the next couple of days where I want to try to cook their traditional brisket.
Right.
And also making their latkes.
Yeah.
And, and just having it on the show and going live on Facebook. And if we don't go live, we'll actually do a video.
Yeah.
And post it on our YouTube channel at Inside Lunchbox. So yeah, they have other dishes as well, which is kind of hard to pronounce. I don't want to really shred their names, but for example, they have one dish. It's a bread. It's a braided bread that they use, and they put it in the oven and they bake it. It almost looks like from the pictures I've seen, kind of like a pretzel.
Yeah.
So it's soft and moist on the inside. And what they do, they use that to take their bread and get all the juices while they're eating their brisket. So you got your bread, and then you got your brisket. And they also do dessert too. They have like a donut. I know it's not called a donut. But it's something like a donut, and they also have I don't know how to pronounce this. It's Rugelach. It's type of sweets. Most have is their version of traditional European pastry.
Yeah,
so
it looks like a pastry.
So it looks really, really good. Looking here online, I'm looking at it, and it looks really, really good. And then they have this other thing. Sufganiot. I don't know how to pronounce it, but what it looks like, it's a jelly-filled donut topped with powdered sugar.
Sure.
And they also eat that during Hanukkah as well. So they eat very, very light compared to us Americans,
right?
During their holiday, and
light as in like low fat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very, very, very low fat.
They have very healthy dishes.
Yes.
Yeah, the latkes look good too. I don't know how to describe them other than maybe like a potato pancake. I think one description I actually saw was a potato pancake.
Exactly what it is. Exactly.
I was like, I love hash browns, but that looks a lot healthier than a hash brown.
It does. And it's simple. They just shred the potato.
Yeah.
They maybe put some egg. I don't know the actual recipe, but I'm thinking they use an egg as a binder.
Sure.
Mix it up with some egg, and then they flat it down, and then they fry it, and then they top, the little pancake with some applesauce, and they go in. And
absolutely amazing.
It actually sounds really good. So we're actually probably gonna cook that, and we're gonna make that. So yeah. So that was a little brief history on Hanukkah. So with that being said, let's switch over to Kwanzaa. Now, Kwanzaa, I feel really, really bad because I wasn't really familiar with Kwanzaa, and we did a little history on Kwanzaa, and it shocked me because I feel like as an African American, I should have known this.
Sure, but
I didn't, and quite interesting. Do you have any history on that?
Okay, so and I'm gonna absolutely probably butcher this person's name, but Kwanzaa is an African American holiday,
non-religious
African American holiday, and I knew about it growing up, but I didn't know like all that it entailed. I knew it was African American in origins. I knew that it had used a lot of words from Swahili, which I cannot pronounce. And I knew that it was like a time for the community to come together and celebrate, but I didn't know anything more than that.
Yes.
But the way it's often portrayed, especially people who are not familiar with the holiday, is like it's an African holiday.
Yes.
Like it's an African religious holiday, but it's not.
I thought it was, I grew up thinking that it was an African holiday that came from Africa.
Right.
And that's what I thought.
But it's absolutely African inspired.
Yes.
Okay. So it was created by an activist by the name of, and I'm going to mispronounce this, but forgive me, Moulana Karenga. And it's based on African harvest festival traditions from various parts of West and Southeast Africa. It was first celebrated in 1966, and I did know that. I did know it came out during the civil rights era.
Okay.
And it's just a time to getting together, community, eating food. And if you think that a lot of the recipes are going to be African recipes, you're wrong, because it's an African American holiday, and so a lot of their recipes are just traditional Black soul food, and it absolutely looks amazing.
So I didn't know that. Like, we were sitting here last week, and we were going over it, and I'm like, man, let me look up what type of foods that they ate for Kwanzaa. And I'm looking, I was like, collard greens, fried catfish, fried chicken,
macaroni and
sweet
cheese,
potato pie, candied yams. And I'm sitting here like, wait, hold on, that's not what I know from my interpretation of Kwanzaa. Like, so then I started doing more and found out that this was a holiday that was put together for the Black community in 1966.
Yeah,
and it was just more so like, let's bring. There's so much going on during that time.
Yeah.
This person, the doctor, decided to say, hey, let's come together as a community and celebrate.
Yeah.
Just celebrate good times, and they eat, they dance, and they have a good family time. Now, it doesn't have to be just about the Black community. It's actually for anybody for you to come together and just have a good time, to bring the community together and let people know that we are humans. We are. There's no color here. Right. We are who we are. We are human. Let's sit here and just enjoy a good festival. So, one of the things that I know a lot about is collard greens.
Right.
So what they do with their collard greens is, my recipe, what I do with my collard greens is that I kind of saute them, and then while I'm doing that, I take my chicken stock and I boil some type of smoked meat inside my my chicken stock, so the smokeness could get inside the chicken stock. While I'm doing that, I'll take some bacon and chop up some bacon just so I can get a little bit more flavor profile. And once I saute the greens, they become wilted, and then I put the greens inside, I pour their liquid inside the collard greens with the smoked meat. It could be smoked turkey necks, smoked turkey wings, legs. A lot of the southern community, they actually use pork, smoked neck bones and stuff like that, and they put it inside there, which gives it a great, amazing flavor. And then you sit there and you let that cook for maybe an hour, 2 hours, or an hour, just until the greens get tender. And while you're doing that, you're adding in your seasonings that you want and stuff like that. And I normally put a little bit of vinegar in there so I can give it that vinegary taste, just a real light vinegar taste. A lot of southern people put vinegar in their greens, and also I know that some people in Louisiana, they do like a Cajun style greens, where they put shrimp and they put a little bit of andouille sausages in there, and that just sounds so amazing. Another dish that they cook is sweet potatoes. Or candied yams. So sweet potatoes and yams are actually two different things.
Are they?
Yes,
I thought yams were sweet potatoes. I thought they were one and the same.
Their style, they're different.
Are they really different?
Yeah. So
I thought they were prepared different. I thought it was like the same food prepared differently. Really?
Yep. You have yams and you have sweet potatoes, but the taste and the texture are almost the same.
Okay.
Right. So if somebody say, "Yeah, I have candied yams," they might have actually just bought a sweet potato and made candied yams like that. But they're actually two different things.
Because when I was in Africa, and we were visiting. I was in Rwanda, which is in like Central East Africa. And by the way, African food's amazing. But one of they were out harvesting yams, and I was asking them like what's a yam, and they were digging them up out of the ground, and I was like, oh, it's a sweet potato. I've been wrong this entire time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So and they do a lot of different soul food, and even they have a mixture of Caribbean food in there too as well. And they also have some dishes that are like African inspired dishes,
right?
That they also incorporate into their festival. So to me, Kwanzaa is nothing but a Southern holiday to bring the community together. It started off with bringing the Black community together, and it turned out just from 1966 to now to just be one of the three major holidays here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to look more into it because I feel like as an African American, I should have definitely known that, and I feel so bad that I didn't know that. And I asked a couple of friends as well, and they knew a little bit about it, but they also didn't know the history behind it.
Yeah.
So if you're watching our Facebook, if you're listening to our podcast, go out and like do research on Kwanzaa. Matter of fact, do history on all the major holidays here and educate yourself here in the U.S. because the worst thing we ever want to do is disrespect anybody.
Yeah, and coming from my perspective, I'm obviously not African American, but
I can't tell.
Oh, for real though. Growing up, I always thought Kwanzaa was just like African Christmas, and Hanukkah was just like Jewish Christmas, and it's so far from the truth, right? These different cultures and these different heritages are rich in and of their own. They're not just, hey, Christmas, but with a Jewish flavor. It's not.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of Jewish friends growing up who they feel very offended that a lot of people who come from a predominantly Christian background or Western background who just view their holiday as like a Christmas knockoff, but it's not. It's unique in its own heritage.
Yes, exactly.
Hanukkah has been around longer than Christianity's been around.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, for real? Yeah. Because it happened during the Maccabean Revolt during the Greek occupation. That was almost 100 years before the Roman occupation, and Christ was born during the Roman occupation, right?
Yeah.
So, like Hanukkah has existed as a holiday longer than Christianity, longer than Christmas. So it's important, I believe, to be respectful of everyone in our community and not just treat their holidays as just Christmas knockoffs.
Yes,
and I say that from someone who was raised in a Christian background. I love Christmas.
Yes.
Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year for me. But I understand that that's a holiday that I grew up in my culture. But there are other holidays that are just as rich and just as meaningful.
Yes, and I could tell you that they have good food.
Oh, they have good food.
So what I will be doing is maybe not this year, but next year, what we said earlier is actually maybe going out and see if we could get with somebody and actually, interview or maybe even get the chance to partake in some of these festivities, and some of these dinners, and bring it to our viewers and to our fans here on Inside the Lunchbox, because I think it's really important here in the U.S. because we are what they used to call the U.S. I don't know if they still call it the melting pot.
Yeah.
So we have different religions, different cultures here in the U.S., and that does not, and I'm telling you this from me being an African American, that your culture and your religion does not determine if you're an American or not.
Right.
If you're born here, you're raised here, and you're an American, you are an American, no matter what your religion is. So with that being said, as Americans, we should come together and we should respect everybody's cultures, everybody's traditions, and also just go out and just love people, man.
And one thing I do love about humans, because we were talking about like these are human roots. Humans have, from the dawn of time, had harvest festivals.
Yes.
Right. Whether it was a Christian background that led to Thanksgiving, whether it's an African American background that led to Kwanzaa, which was basically a harvest festival inspired, a West African harvest festival inspired holiday. We need more excuses to just get together, love each other, and have good food. And that's one of the things I loved about looking into Kwanzaa was this is just a really good excuse to get together, to be thankful for the year that we had. Because Kwanzaa is from the 26th of December through the 31st, right?
Okay,
so it's after Christmas, but before New Year's. It's like a great time to get together as a community, have good food, and be thankful for what we've had all year.
Exactly. And I'm just like I'm in awe, man. Like I'm still over the past week. I'm still like, man, I should have knew that. God, I should have knew that. I should have knew. And I apologize with that because I as me for myself,
right?
I really need to take time and learn more about different cultures,
right?
Different holidays that's here in the U.S. But we all know they got good food. So with that being said, definitely go out and see what your friends are doing, what they believe in, and share your thoughts, share your food, and enjoy the holidays. So this podcast, we were just talking about a little bit about Kwanzaa and a little bit about Hanukkah and their history and their types of food. Our next podcast, we're actually going to talk about Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.
Once again, my favorite movie of all time.
Best Christmas movie. Best Christmas movie ever.
And I think you told me that it was it one of the most watched Christmas movies, or
so during its box office run, and this I could be wrong now, but up until recently, it was the highest grossing comedy of all time.
Oh wow!
Home Alone broke records. It's just an amazing movie. Well acted, well directed. The score was done by John Williams.
Yeah, it was great.
Excellent movie.
Great. It was great. So,
and it's a movie about what we've been talking about, family. Like what's the end of the story there? He begins to realize that, hey, being a loner, being alone is not all it's cracked up to be. If you don't have family, if you don't have community, the holidays are empty.
I'm not gonna lie, man. If I woke up, sorry, mom, dad, sister, Leger, love you, love every last one of my brothers and sisters. But if I wake up and you guys are all gone, I had a whole house to myself.
It would be fun for a few days. Isn't that what happens in the movie? Like for the first 2 days, he's having a blast, and by the third, fourth day, he's like, you know what? I miss my family.
Hey, they'll eventually be back.
They will be back.
I'm having a party. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing everybody over. And I'm just being the most rebellious kid. No, I'm just joking.
Shooting G.I. Joes with BB guns. Like who did not do that as a kid? I know I did.
Yeah, but I'm a mama's boy, so I definitely would have been the first one breaking down in tears, knowing that my mom was somewhere else and I'm like stuck here in this big old house. Yeah, that's definitely how she would be. But yeah, man, definitely. I want to thank you guys for watching and tuning in to our podcast. I want to thank you guys for tuning into our Facebook. For some apparently reason, our Facebook just stopped recording, but our podcast kept going, which is it's okay. But until next time, man, I guess next time we'll talk about Christmas and we'll talk about more family and more food. And I want to just let you guys know to follow us on our Facebook, follow us on our Instagram, follow us on our TikTok. All of it is inside the lunchbox. Like and subscribe our page, and also the Whisson Network. Please go on. I have a couple videos, cooking videos on there. Go on there and like, share, and most importantly, subscribe and spread your love to everybody in the world. With that being said, Levi, do you have anything?
Until next time, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, have a Happy Kwanzaa, and a Happy New Year.
Yes, let's go. Inside the lunchbox. Until next time.
We out.